Just quit it. This is the second homework assignment. Now, let's see here. Let's look at 3. That is y equals 0.4, better known as 4/10, x plus 1 minus 2. So when you talk about your transformations, this right here would be a horizontal shift left, not right. I know you want it to be right because you see plus 1, but there is a horizontal shift left 1. And that minus 2 is a vertical shift down 2. Then you've got this. This is a scale factor of 4/10, or a vertical compression of 4/10. It also happens to be the initial slope. I can go up 4/10 of a unit. That's what I can do as I go right. It's kind of funny how it works with absolute value. You don't rise 4 and run 10. You can go up 4/10 of a unit, which is going to be really hard to do on a graph, but whatever. So I need to go left 1. I'm going to make this kind of big, and I need to go down 2. And that is where this thing will be centered. Now, as I move left and right, and it's absolute value, so it looks like a V. As I move left and right, I am allowed to rise about 4/10 of a unit as I run to the right, and the same thing as I run to the left. And it's compression because it flattens out the V. And there's your little V. So there you go. What else is interesting? Look at 4. Now 4 is not in the right form. The form you were studying in class yesterday was y equals a times x minus h plus k. That's the form you're studying. What we're allowed to do here is we're allowed to pull this 2 out. We're going to kind of factor a little bit. The negative symbol is still going to be there. If you factor a 2 out from 2x, you have x. If you factor a 2 from h, you have a 4. And now I can identify the transformations. The transformations here are a reflection, that negative symbol is a reflection on the x-axis. That's better known as a vertical reflection. And I have a a horizontal shift left 4. I also have one more transformation. This is a vertical stretch. That 2 is a whole number. It's going to make the slope twice as fast. There's a vertical stretch of factor 2. So I need to go left 4 units. There's where the vertex is for this absolute value equation. And my initial slope here is to fall 2. So I'm going to fall 2 as I run left, and I'm going to fall 2 as I run right. There is number 4. And that's all I'm going to do on that. Let's see what's up. 7, I don't know what I want to do. Let's do 9 down here. Right, the child function after the mother function y equals absolute value of x is undergoing the following transformations in the order given, and it says please show the process. So if I shift up 3 units, I'm just going to add 3. Now reflecting over the x-axis, because of how this is going, because of the order, is actually going to negate everything. That's kind of funny. Order does matter. Vertically stretching by a factor of 5, that's going to put a 5 in front of absolute value. And shifting right 2 units, that's easy. We actually subtract 2 from inside with x. This would be what gets people, that right there. When you reflect over the x-axis, you negate the function. And this was the function as it stood, so I had to negate everything. So that's why that one works that way. I know that gets kids, it always does. I'm a little bothered by it too. Let's see, what do we got? 10 and 11 are F notation, function notation. I don't think I'll have a problem with that, so I'm not going to do them. All right, the ACT section. You must show your work. It cost $8 for an adult ticket to a reggae concert and X dollars for a student ticket. The difference between the cost of 12 adult tickets and 18 student tickets is $36. Which of the following equations represents this relationship between A and S? Now, the key word here was difference. Subtraction. That's really all there is to it. Key words. And that is the right answer. That's the right equation. 12 adults take away 18 student tickets. The difference is $36. It doesn't matter which one's more expensive or not. The difference is $36. So that was just knowing a key word. Done. All right, if x is greater than 1, well, which of the following has the least value? If I were you at your age, I would just make up a number. Let x be 3 or something like that, something bigger than 1. You're not supposed to use 0, 1, and 2 on the ACT. You're not supposed to. So this would become the root of 3. This would become the root of 2 times 3, which is the root of 6. Remember, I want the least, all right? H would become the root of 3 times 3, which is the root of 9, which is, in fact, 3. J would become, if x is 3, 3 root 3. And K would become 3 times 3, which is 9. It's the first choice. The root of 3 is the smallest of all those numbers. You guys know some of your square roots, I hope. The square root of 4 is 2. So the square root of 3 has to be less than 2, doesn't it? Charles defined a new operation, diamond, on a pair of ordered pairs of integers as follows. AB, diamond CD is AC plus BD over AB minus CD. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to label those things A, B, C, and D, and I'm going to plug them into that little formula. That's really all there is to it. So this says A times C, which would be 2 times 3, plus B times D, which would be 1 times 4. And it is sitting over A times B, 2 times 1, minus C times D, 3 times 4. Now I'm just going to crank out the numbers. That's all there is to it. The numerator here, this makes a 6, that makes a 4, that's a 10. The denominator is going to be 2 minus 12, which is negative 10, and 10 over negative 10 is negative 1. That's how hard that problem is. 13 is a geometry problem. In isosceles right triangle below, A to B is 10 feet. Notice it says isosceles, that means 2 congruent sides. So if A to B is 10, that one's 10. What is the length of AC? Well, the answer is E. There's a couple ways of doing this. You guys all took geometry last year. I don't know if you're familiar with this pattern. XXX root 2 for 45, 45, 90s. But if you forget that, you've got that really old theorem, the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared is C squared, which is taught in 8th grade. So 10 squared plus 10 squared is C squared. 10 squared and 10 squared would be 200. So C would be the root of 200. And you were taught to simplify radicals in Algebra 1. That is 100 times 2, and the root of 100 is 10. So 10 root 2. 14. In a bag of 400 jelly beans, 25% of the jelly beans are red in color. If you randomly pick a jelly bean from the bag, what is the probability the jelly bean picked is not a red jelly bean? So if 25% are red, 75% are not. 75% is equal to 3 and 4, last I checked. So, those are pretty easy ACT problems. I thought they were. Hopefully you did too. Anyways, that is the absolute value homework.